Welcome to a briefing on the European house borer response, a joint project between the Forests Product Commission and the Department of Agriculture and Food. I'm Mike Grimm, the entomologist in charge of the science of the EHB response. You will learn of the latest work being done to eradicate this pest from Australia. The material also contains archival footage, courtesy of the CSIRO, from the Eastern States outbreak of the 1950s. The European house borer presents a unique challenge to Australia. Found in pine timber and in dead pine trees, it is estimated that this insidious pest has the potential to cause $6 billion in damage to the Australian economy if left unchecked. Fortunately, the Government of Western Australia is doing something about it. As soon as EHB was discovered in WA, the Government, working through the Department of Agriculture and Food and the Forest Products Commission, established the European house borer response, which aims to control the spread of EHB. The European house borer probably came to Australia in a load of timber. There had been an incursion in the eastern states in the 1950s, but that EHB incursion was eradicated with a concerted government effort over about 10 years. Basically, it destroys untreated, dry or dead pine, fir and spruce. But the main timber affected is pine, which is used in building construction across Australia. The borer, as a larva, has a lifespan of 2 to 12 years, meaning it can go undetected for a long time within the timber.
After they've hatched, the grubs start chewing into the wood. The transverse body folds aid their movement in the tunnels, and the strong jaws eat out the oval-shaped burrows, or galleries as they're called. These galleries are packed with frass, the undigested powdery material, which is the familiar sign of the presence of a wood borer. And so, because it leaves no sign of its presence, the European house borer is probably the most difficult of all wood borers to detect. As it nears the later stages of its development, the grub forms a pupal chamber in one of the galleries. Here it will undergo the transformation from the larval to the adult stage. This gradual transformation from the early pupal stage through the various phases of development to the final adult form takes about 3 weeks. When the adult beetle first emerges, its outer covering is a light creamy color, but this quickly changes to a dark brown-black, and it then burrows its way out along a previously sealed tunnel. Finally, it leaves the wood through an oval-shaped opening nearly ½ an inch across. This is the only time the European house borer leaves a mark on the surface of the wood which might betray its presence. But then, of course, it's too late. The damage is done.
This is the area that could be infested if the EHB is allowed to spread. The map is based on modelling from Port Elizabeth, South Africa, where they had an EHB problem in the 1940s. When up to 90% of homes in the Cape region were affected to the point of structural collapse. EHB has mostly been detected in dead and unhealthy pine trees and logs in Perth's northeast suburbs. EHB has been detected relatively early, and the current response is having a significant impact on containing and removing the pest. EHB response team members have driven down every street in WA below the 26th parallel, from Geraldton to Esperance, and they've done it twice. They have door-knocked almost 45,000 homes in the Perth metropolitan area and continue to target suburbs where reports of EHB occur. To date, more than 33,000 surveys have been completed, a 75% success rate. More than 100,000 hectares of pine plantations have also been inspected. The EHB response team's officers are continually in the field looking for signs of EHB. To date, the state government has removed thousands of dead pine trees to reduce suitable habitat for EHB. This includes the removal of more than 8,600 cubic metres of pine. However, it's an ongoing response, and one that is vital to ensure success in the fight against this pest. The response has an impressive record with regard not only to the area covered, but also in creating community awareness. research has now begun on determining just how the EHB can be stopped. One of the projects is the installation of 800 trap poles in areas known to be EHB hotspots. The aim is to trap the EHB by presenting the pole as an alternative food source. This can be removed prior to any adult beetles emerging. Once in the purpose-built laboratory at South Perth, samples of infested pine wood are dissected and the borers are measured. Apart from studying things like the reproduction and life cycle of the EHB, Department of Agriculture scientists are also looking at the effectiveness of different preservative treatments and acoustic detection of the pest. The ongoing work will ensure that the government will be equipped to make the best decisions on approaching the problem. The EHB Response has fully engaged more than 50 community and industry stakeholder groups. Initial awareness programs realised an 80+% awareness rate among the general community in the affected areas. The response has also worked hard to keep businesses informed of progress through a website, industry briefings, fact sheets and video material, and personal contact with team members.
Report any persistent scraping noises you hear in a piece of softwood. Report any oval-shaped holes about ½ an inch across. And remember that this insect won't attack Australian hardwoods. It will only attack seasoned softwood. Should this insect become established here, it would cause tremendous damage to the softwood timber industry, and the cost of building restoration would indeed be hard to calculate.
The state government has committed more than $7 million to the EHB response. While there is no guarantee that the pest can be contained within WA, work to date suggests that the EHB can be eradicated. However, that will ultimately depend on the will of governments to provide ongoing support.